Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of the China Experts. I'm very pleased to have Martin Klimek here from Synapticon, who's going to share Synapticon's journey in China and predominantly what the successes have been, because we were just talking previously that there are probably more successes than problems that have occurred along their journey. So, Martin, just to start off, why China? You personally have had a journey with China over the last 10, 15 years.
Yep.
But also why had Synapticon, a German headquartered company, decided to go into China?
Yeah, thanks for having me, first of all. Yeah. So I think China, you cannot have no China. Yeah, I think China is one of the biggest global market and very important for innovative companies to go there. The same for US, the same for Europe as well, but you cannot have a global company or the intention to have a global company without China. Yeah? So you have to have China somehow in your portfolio and in your customers' view if you want. Yeah? So China is a must, I would say. Yeah.
So China together with the US was in the decision-making process. And you arrived in China probably it was about 2-3 years ago.
Yep.
What has been your experience thus far with the journey? And let's not forget, this is a journey that really started during the pandemic.
Yep.
And there have been issues along the way, just like for any other global company.
Yeah, when I started with Synapticon 2 years ago, it was kind of the most important market for China for us. And somehow then with the virus and with COVID and all that hassle that came along with COVID, China was still able to absorb our products. They were still buying from us. So we were still able to sell our product in China compared to US, where everything was kind of locked down. Yeah. So we could not sell to US a lot last year, but China quickly picked up again after the COVID shock, I would say. And we were still able to make a lot of sales with China last year. And it was absolutely a success for me, I would say. Yeah. At the same time, with the global supply chain, then harmed by COVID and all those troubles we got that we couldn't source the materials anymore. We could use China and our hub in China as well to source the material directly from brokers in China. And so we could keep the supply chain running at a lower scale or at a lower basis, but it was still running. And that was another success for us, I would say. So we used China for selling our product, and we use China for sourcing our materials to get the products produced.
And I think this is a wonderful case study to show how you've pivoted over the last 2 years, because the intention for China was purely as a commercial office with a sales team. And I think it's amazing to see that your staff in China have also pivoted their mindset of thinking, if we're going to survive and continue to sell, we have to produce. So we have to help the head office to source.
Absolutely.
And I think that was a wonderful success story also in terms of the people you have on the ground.
Yep.
To support the business.
I can say we have 2 major EMS for our product production. So they are located in Europe, and their arms into China are not so strong as our arms in China. So the one big EMS we have is not able to buy stuff from broker that they don't qualify, that they don't know exactly, so that the risk is too high for them. We were able with our local team in China to quickly find brokers that we can trust, because the local people know how the local people are working, and they can easily or more easily check if they are trustworthy or not. And that was one of our strengths. So our EMS was not able to buy from China. We were able to buy from China, and we have a good trust to our people in our office in Shanghai, because we know them for a long time, and so we know we can trust them, and we know that they have a kind of a good overview about the market, not just the selling market, but as well the sourcing market. Yeah, and that was a absolutely plus for us. Yeah.
Probably one of the biggest questions that people have is, when you have, or let me rephrase that, the media tends to always portray that staff in China are not loyal, they're not trustworthy, you always have to pay extreme attention to what they're doing, there's high turnover. in your case, as well as in mine, I have been able to find wonderful people who over time we've been able to trust, and where I've been able to gain some loyalty from. In your situation, how have you found these people? I mean, maybe it's not been you, Martin, but how has Synapticon been able to find these first hires that have joined the team? And like, you've used the word trust a lot, which I love, and I want people to have that as a takeaway. So how did you find them?
So, and that's history from Synapticon. I'm only here since 2 years, but what I've heard so far is that we had a general manager there that was kind of a US guy with Chinese roots, and he was starting off the company there. And after he left, then for personal reasons, because he wanted to retire and he wanted to live in US again, we were able, with connections, so we knew somebody who knew somebody, and with those connections we could hire our current general manager in China, and he is now around for at least 6 or 7 years, I think, already. So this person we trust a lot, yeah, and through this person and his network we can hire now people again that we can just attract with the personal knowledge of this general manager in China. So it's about people, it's about connection, it's about the network of the people. And once you have this good network, you have trustworthy people at the end.
Absolutely.
I think that's the key, or the magic. Yeah.
Absolutely. What is how do you envisage Synapticon growing in China in the next 2, 3, 4 years? I mean, it's April 2022. Shanghai is again in a lockdown. There are still holdups. What do you envisage in the next year, 2 years for Synapticon?
Yeah, for sure. We would like to expand our sales activities there. So we have wholesaler there, so distributors that work for us, but we would like to sell direct as well, that we can just save those margin we give to the distributors at some cases at least. So we would like to hire salespeople, and of course we need to hire, because we have a product that is not self-explanatory. It's kind of a complicated product where you need to explain a lot and show to the customers how it works and what you can do with it. Therefore, we need application engineering in China for the local market. So Chinese people who can explain our product. They get the support from the German facility, that they can learn how to educate the people about our products. So sales and application engineering is key for us in the future.
And do you feel that China will become one of your largest, I mean, it already is one of your largest markets. Will it surpass the US and other markets as well?
At the moment,
prediction?
As a prediction, I would say China is our most important market today, and it will be in the future as well. We are even thinking maybe to produce for China in China at some point in time, because it just makes sense that you produce locally where you sell the stuff. And this is our long-term goal, I would say, that we can source the local market with a local production in Shanghai or in Shenzhen or wherever it might be. So I think this is very important. I would say US market is important as well, but it's you need to be there. You need to be. We are not as big in US as we are in China, and the success in China is due to that we are there, that we are locally with a team there, and that we can support. We are on the ground. You cannot do it remote. The same is true for US. You cannot manage it as well as you can manage it if you are on the ground.
So that probably leads me to the next question, which is again a big question mark from a lot of people that I'm speaking with, is borders are shut, right? And we talked about trust and loyalty with the team on the ground. And you obviously said you have to be there on the ground. How, being that your products are so complicated, they require a lot of technical knowledge. How from Germany are you training the team on the ground? How are you, I mean, this probably sounds very common sense, but I think people need to physically hear it from others. How are you training the people so that they have the knowledge level? It's not just trust and loyalty, it's also the knowledge level, understanding the philosophy of the company, the direction you want to take the company in terms of strategy. How are you doing that from Germany?
We have certain tools that we use. So one tool is our internal Wikipedia, where just people can read a lot of stuff about our products whenever we have customer.
Is it in Chinese or is it just in English?
It's in English, yeah.
Okay.
But if you would like to have Chinese as well, you can use it in Chinese as well. So if our general manager decides to have a kind of a Chinese local documentation in Chinese language, he can do that. Yeah, this is Notion, the tool. Yeah, we use this as a kind of a Wikipedia. Everything is documented there. Then we have regular calls, of course. Our technical people here in Germany, they exchange their ideas and their knowledge with the people in China. And of course, we have a lot of customer in China that come with requests, that come with questions. And the Chinese team is then learning from the customer as well about what is needed to educate the customer at the end. So it's a kind of continuous
learning by doing,
by doing, and learning by getting good questions from the customers.
Right.
Yeah. That's
do you feel that when the borders open, there will be more travel by the German team into China naturally, or do you still think a lot could be done with how you've set up the system now?
I think we learned a lot in the last 2 years how to do remote stuff, but I miss China personally, so I can imagine that other people miss China as well. And I'm sure that we will travel more into China. I'm eager to learn about our Chinese team. I would like to travel there. I would like to see the people actually. And as I said, I miss China. So I'm expecting travel will increase, but maybe not to the extent that it was before the COVID pandemic situation. Yeah, because people got smarter in the two years, I think, to work remotely and with good tools and with good processes.
I also just want to add, your team in China is very young and dynamic. So
Absolutely.
They're also very much technology oriented and can kind of be left alone to do a lot of stuff.
And not just in China, our team in Germany is young as well. Yeah.
Right.
So we have lots of young engineers. They chat all the time with chat tools. So they are in contact. They are used to that. Yeah. So they are really techies, if you want. Yeah. And this works very well with the Chinese because the Chinese tend to be techies as well. Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, I like that.
We've talked a lot about the successes, and obviously people tend to want to hear more of the war stories of what's gone wrong in China. I know we're struggling a little bit with coming up a little bit of the war stories, but what happened? I mean, if you are getting into a situation, and this is a plug for Woodburn, obviously, but when you do get into situations that can be tricky, what are you doing? What is Tyrone doing in China? What are you doing in Germany to support the operation?
It's a tough question, because so far we were lucky. Yeah, we had no big issues so far. I think communication is key. That's be really with regular meetings and just talk to the people. Be trustworthy as well. Do what you say and say what you do, and then of course give the task to the people, and then monitor what has been done with the task, and not just leave them alone. Be close to the people and try to really maintain a good relationship and talk to them regularly.
I mean, you mentioned communication, and I will just highlight this because initially when we were doing our monthly calls, so Woodburn is managing the financial operations for the China entity, and it's a requirement from our side that we have monthly calls with the finance team and the HQ, that everybody is on the same playing field. We know what's going on. And initially we were missing one very critical person, which was the general manager, Tyrone, in China in those meetings. Communication is fundamental. And whenever you're looking at all the administrative aspects of the business, I think you got to make sure everybody is part of these meetings. Don't leave somebody out. Otherwise, your Woodburn's talking to Martin, who's then talking to the executive director, who then talks to the GM, and then it becomes very complicated in terms of transparency and clarity and all of that. So
bring the people together in a meeting. That's the key. And talk.
Exactly. And just talk. Absolutely.
And just exchange ideas and include the people to exchange ideas. Not that I tell Tyrone what to do. He should hear it maybe from first hand what he needs to do, and then the understanding is bigger, and of course nobody feels kind of overrun by somebody. And that's, I think it's common sense at the end, yeah, but you need to do it. Yeah, you need
exactly.
to do it. Yeah.
One thing I just want to highlight, again, that's something that's popped up, and I'm sure for a lot of people that are in the high-tech sector, this could be interesting. At the moment, we're going through the process of establishing the high technology standard for the China operation. That's also been quite an interesting experience to go through. And just to highlight, you can always apply for these high-tech standard statuses where you get certain benefits like preferential tax treatments and other types of things. But you've just got to make sure that you follow the criteria. You have to do your bookkeeping in a certain way to be able to apply for these statuses. And I would probably just highlight, work with a provider who knows how to do these applications. We at Woodburn, we don't do these types of applications because they're very specific and you need to have the technology understanding in the background. But work with providers who guide you properly along the journey. Sometimes there's a lack of communication also on that side with parties that you're collaborating with. Well, I guess that's all from my side. I mean, that's the journey. It's been very straightforward, actually. There's never been really large depressions or highs. It's been actually pretty stable. And I'm very proud to say also very stable throughout the pandemic with even headcount increasing. So that's a big plus for many. Martin, I'm hoping to have you on in 1 year's time to see where you are at.
Let's see, yeah.
and how the company's journey is developing. I think that's the most exciting thing to see
Absolutely,
along the way. Well, thanks for joining. And if anybody has questions for Martin, I'll provide the website and details, and you can always reach out and ask for advice or personal experiences. I think everybody likes to share their China experiences and see how it develops. So Martin, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Take care. Bye.